Yes. Good morning, students. So, in my last class, we have been studied regarding the ancient civilization of India, Harappan civilization. We have been studied, and we have been studied regarding the Vedic civilization. Vedic civilization. So, today we are going to study regarding the other civilizations of the world. One of the important civilization of the world we are going to study. So that is none other than the ancient civilization of the world. Ancient civilization of the world. In that we are going to study regarding the Egyptian civilization. Egyptian civilization. So many civilizations flourished in the various parts of the world. In the various parts of the world, many civilizations have been flourished. In the Indus Valley civilization is there, Egyptian civilization is there, Mesopotamian civilization is there, Chinese civilization is there, Mayan civilization is there, many are there. Many civilizations are there. But some civilizations are important. The Egyptian. So today we are going to study regarding the Egyptian civilization. So Egyptian civilization, generally civilizations, they originate in the river plains itself. So Indus Valley civilization, it has been originated in the Sindh River Valley. Same. The civilization, they originate in the river plains itself. The Egyptian civilization could take birth due to the presence of the river Nile. So the reliance obtained here proclaim the gender of the Egyptian civilization. The reliance and the proclaim the evidence which obtained in the Nile River Valley or Nile River Basin. So they are the evidence of the Egyptian civilization. The huge pyramids, sculptures, temples, and inscriptions, and these temples tell us about the Egyptian culture and history. So next we will move towards the contributions of Egyptian. So Egyptians were expert farmers. So first thing, Egyptians were the expert farmers. They knew a lot about the irrigation. They built temples. They invented the calendar, which has helped us to measure the time. More than anything else, they have mastered the art of writing. So while in the Indus Valley civilization, there is no evidence of the writing, only about the oral thing we have been observed. But here, they have mastered about the writing. It was a symbolic language. It consists of the small drawing and has been called as the heliographic writing. A scared writing. Heliography means a scared writing. ದೇವರ ಪದ ಅಂತ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಬಹಳ ಒಂದು ದೇವರ ನಿಷ್ಠೆಯಿಂದ ಬರೆಯುವಂಥ a scared writing. So it has been called as the heliographic writing. Remember, the question may come. It consists of a small drawing and has been called as the heliographic writing. So which writing the Egyptians have been invented? Heliographic writing. So question may come. So heliographic writing. So this is the contribution of the Egypt. So next we will move towards the Nile Valley or the river Nile, the Nile Valley. So here every rainy season, so we have to say first the river Nile. What is the specialty of that particular river? Why the Egyptian civilization has been originated or it has been taken birth on the Nile River Valley itself. So here every rainy season the Nile River would transform the Nile Valley into a huge lake. So it was a valley. So in the rainy season, that huge valley, it would turn or it would transform into the huge lake. After the valley dried up in summer, the fertile layer of the clay soil would form the gazing field for the neighboring agricultural land. The work would need the thousands of labor to convert that valley, Nile River Valley, towards the gazing land. Thousands of labors were needed, but it was only done by the river Nile itself. River Nile itself. So it was been helpful for the people to set up their life on the river basin. So here, there was being done by the kind of the river itself. Means that valley was been transformed into the fertile land by the river itself. So the fertile land provided food for the population and for the first town in the area. The fertile land, it provided food for the population, and it also provided the first town in that particular area. Not all agriculture regions were in the valley. Hence, through small channels and wells, they were responsible for the development of the complex system of irrigation through the land. So some areas were far away from the river valley, some areas were far away from the river basin. So to take water for that area, they have been constructed the channels, and they have been constructed wells. So in the thousand year back itself, they knew regarding the irrigation. The prosper, wealthy Egyptian peasants and the citizens during their leisure, they are very prosperous due to the river Nile. During their leisure time, they engage themselves with the creation of the artistic work. The role of the priest were created to interpret the nature and to explain it. The priest was there, and that priest, his work was to explain regarding the nature. So ಇವತ್ತಾಗ ನಾವು ಭಟ್ರು ನಮಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಮಂತ್ರ ಪೂಜೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿ ಸೇಮ್ ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಇತ್ತು. So next, the priests were the scholars and shouldered the responsibility of protecting the written documents. The priests were the scholars, and they took the responsibility of the written document. Whatever the documents were written, they were being preserved by the priestly class itself. They believed the life after death. So this is the important thing you have to remember. They believed life after death. They believed that the man had to give his account of his deeds on the earth to the Oris. It's the name of the god, Oris, the most powerful god of life and death. The Oris was, as per their thinking, Oris was the most powerful god of life and death. The priest considered that a life on the earth was temporary and was needed only to prepare for the next life. The life on the earth was temporary, only they needed for the life for the next. So it was temporary life. So it is preparing. The life on the earth is preparing for the next life. Thus, the whole of the Nile River Valley was reserved for the dead. The dead bodies would have been smeared with the various chemicals and wrapped with the thin cloth. So dead bodies, they have been preserved. So with the various chemicals, so today what we are having, the ice, today we use the ice and chemicals, whatever we use to preserve the body. But in those days, in the long back of 5,000 years ago, 6,000 years ago itself, the Egyptians were been preserving the body with the chemicals. The body was being preserved, and it was being covered with the white thin clothes. The body protected. Thus, and that body was been called dead body which was been protected, and that body was been called as the mummy. I think the English picture is there. Mummy returns. You have been observed. The mummy returns. Picture is there. And even today, mummy is the word. In English, it has been called to the mother. But during the time of the Egyptians, mummy was the word was been called to the dead bodies. Mummy was the word which was been called to the dead bodies. So Egyptians called dead bodies as mummy. It would kept in a specially designed coffin. Coffin head of the petty. So it was in a specially designed coffin. So the grave was considered the true place for the Egyptians. Hence, all around the dead bodies, all around the dead bodies. So it was been kept one particular place in the grave, and all around the dead bodies, whatever the things he was using during his lifetime, all those things were being kept in that particular graveyard. Whatever is need for cooking, dolls, whatever the things, even the barber combs were being kept, each and everything was being kept. Whatever he was using in his lifetime, each and everything was being kept in that particular graveyard. For the further. So in the beginning, graves were being created by the carving into the rocks. Carving into the rocks in the hills. As the Egyptians moved to the north. So in the earlier, when they are living this out, they were carving. Rocks were being carved, and inside the body was being kept. As they moved towards the north, they started to construct. Means it was a desert, and they started to construct the tall towers. They started to construct the tall towers with the huge blocks, with the huge stone blocks. They started to construct a tall tower. With this huge block, they started to construct a tall tower like this. Like this, the tall tower they started to construct. Tall tower, they started to construct a tall tower. Only what purpose? To keep the dead body inside. To keep the dead body inside. So by using the stone blocks, in order for the external sleep of the dead, the kings and the wealthy people vied with each other in the building the tall and taller towers. The kings and the wealthy people. So there was a competition to build a tall and taller towers. So Greeks. So these Greeks or the Egyptians, they called such structure as a pyramid. So it has been called as the pyramid. Such structure was been called as a pyramid. Such structure was been called as pyramid. So such tall towers were being built. Tall towers were being constructed, and there the dead body was to be kept. And whatever he was using in a lifetime, I think recently one pyramid was being exhibited, and inside the pyramid the dead body was there, the skeleton was there, and complete whatever the gold or gold ornaments. So every gold ornament, what the dead body has been on the dead body was there, all was as it is. So it was kept back in the 6,000 or the 8,000, 10,000 years ago, 6,000 years ago. Even at recently, 2 to 3 years back, it was been exhibited. So all the gold ornaments, it was been as it is. So means this is the example of the how they worship. Means they have been worshipping the dead bodies. They have been worshipping the dead bodies. And they started to build a huge tall towers. Those towers were being called as the dead bodies. So kings and the wealthy person, they started to make a tall or the big towers. So the kings of the Egypt were called as the pharaohs. The kings of the Egypt were called as the pharaohs. The kings of the Egypt were called as the pharaohs. The peasant who had accepted the rule of the powerful Oris now had accepted the rule of the pharaohs. The kings of the Egypt, they were called as the pharaohs. Remember it. They were called as pharaohs. So this is regarding their contribution. Now next, after that independent, the prosperous life for the 20th century, Egypt came under the rule of the Arabian shepherd tribe called Hyksos. Which attacked it and defeated it. Ruled for 500 years. So that Egypt was been ruled by the Arabian shepherd tribe called Hyksos for 500 years. So they looted the wealth and hence it did not become popular. The Jews who came wandering through the desert, in search of the shelter, were also hated by the people of the Egypt. So by cooperating with the foreign rule, the Jews even assisted them in collecting the taxes and administration. Hyksos. In 1700 BC, the people of the Thebes rose in revolt against the foreigners. So after the defeat, they succeeded in driving the Hyksos. So after the conflict with the foreigners, so Hyksos, the Arabian Shepherd tribe, they were being removed from the Egyptian land. They were removed from the Egyptian land. Egypt became free once again. After 1,000 years, it came under the rule of the Assyrians. Saradam Falls, Assyrians. It came under the Assyrians. So the Persian emperor Cambyses occupied the Egypt in the 6th century BC. Alexander occupied the Persia in 4th century BC. Egypt became the provinces of Macedonia. So Alexander, you are knowing, and already have been in your previous class you have been learned regarding Alexander the Great, one of the king who wanted to capture the whole world itself. So yeah, Persian emperor Cambyses in 6th century BC occupied the Egyptian land. But in 4th century BC, Alexander occupied the Persia. So Egypt became the part of the Macedonia. One of the Alexander's military general declared himself as the king of the Egypt and established his dynasty of Ptolemies. He founded the city called Alexandria. So at last came the Romans in 39 BC. Now the Romans came towards the Alexander. So the Romans came towards the Egyptian land in 39 BC. The last Egyptian queen, Cleopatra. So Cleopatra is a lady who has been known for her beauty. Cleopatra. So ಅವಳ ಸೌಂದರ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ನೋಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಶತ್ರುಗಳು ಅವಳ ಸೌಂದರ್ಯ ನೋಡಿ ಹೆದರ್ತಿದ್ರು. ಅವಳ ಸೌಂದರ್ಯದಿಂದ ಅವಳ ಶತ್ರುಗಳನ್ನು ಸೋಲಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. So Cleopatra. So here it was said that the last Egyptian queen Cleopatra, she tried her best to save the country. It was said that the Romans feared her beauty more than her troops. Romans feared for her beauty more than her troops. ರೋಮನ್ನರು ಅವಳ ಚಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ಹೆದರ್ತಿದ್ರು, ಅವಳ ಸೈನ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆದರುವುದಿಲ್ಲ ಆಗಿರೋರು. ಸೊ ಅವಳ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾದ ಹೆದರಿಕೆ ಇರೋದು ಅವಳ ಸೌಂದರ್ಯ ಕಾಣಿತು, ಅಷ್ಟು ಚಂದ ಇದ್ದಳು ಕ್ಲಿಯೋಪಾತ್ರ. So more than her troops. So twice he was been successful in attacking the Rome. Twice he was been successful in attacking the Romans, the heart of the Romans. But so in the 30 BC, Caesar's successor, his son-in-law, Augustine did not succumb to her beauty. So Julius Caesar also, he succumbed for his beauty. But his son-in-law, Augustine, he did not succumb for her beauty. Augustine did not succumb for her beauty, but defeated the army through the spare. But he spared his life. So Augustine defeated the Egyptian army or Cleopatra's army, but he spared the Cleopatra. When he planned to carry her away towards the Macedonia. So there was a battle, and Cleopatra consumed suicide, the last queen of Egyptian. So when she was been defeated by the Augustine, and Augustine planned to take her away towards the Macedonia. So at last she came to know that she has been defeated completely. So but she did not give up. She committed the suicide and ended her life. She took a poison and ended her life. So she consumed poison and ended her life. Not suicide. She consumed poison and ended her life. So from then onwards, Egypt became the provinces of Rome. Egypt became the provinces of Rome. So this is regarding the Egyptian civilization. So Egyptians, whatever today with the writing the skill of writing and the calendar and how to preserve the body, life after death. So thinking of the life after death, each and everything was been given by the Egyptian itself. And pyramid, structure of the idea of pyramid. Today also if you go to the Egypt, you can witness the pyramid. I think just now I said 2 to 3 years back, one pyramid was been exhibited, and the jewels, ornaments, the gold ornaments were as it is. The body was been totally it has been decayed, but the ornaments, whatever the ornaments and whatever the things were being kept, they were as it is. So that is one of the master thing of the Egyptians. So this is regarding the Egyptian civilization. So any doubt or anything, you can call me. So thank you.